bag.
Space Force disputed London today's lightning strike by airship officers led to over 2,000 passengers being held up for up to 10 hours to board flights. 10-euro technicians were today sentenced by the Justice Computer to be banished for life to the criminal satellite Pima 111.
Here's the news. Another action-filled adventure. All the worst from the World Convention.
Shares of Roboco Developments now planning to say it was a friend of mine. So I regularly schedule programs. After World Day. The latest report from the people now. Only tiny little detail. And say hello to everybody.
Here's the news. I wanna go home. I want my baby back. Here's the news. I wanna go back. Here's the news. Somebody has broken out a satellite too. Look very carefully, it may be you.
The energy call today was used to meet the Archbishop is waving to the crowd. Welsh Broadcasting Authority today. I think the future's right. We'll have to wait and see. I'll call you back later.